welcome everybody. Good evening. I'm Kobayshi Maru, and welcome to Masterclass Episode 1. This is a show where we play, we analyze, and we explore the game of Hearthstone. With me is my co-host Tarn. Tarn, how you doing this evening?
Doing awesome. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tarn's a good friend. We met at BlizzCon a few years back. It was actually the year that MVP and MMA played in the finals. StarCraft 2 Championship was an amazing BlizzCon, a wonderful experience. And since, Tarn and I have been gaming together online, and we play a bit against each other, do some customs, play as teams in other games. And since we've got the Hearthstone beta, we've both been playing a ton, and that's what this show's come from. Hearthstone itself is just a fantastic game. I'm sure you guys who are tuning in feel the same way. It's not even in open beta yet, and the game's in fantastic shape. I'm loving it. I know Tarn's loving it. And I think everyone out there who's played or at least watched the streams can say that this game's going to be something very special. And for me, one of the things I love most about the game is how unique each matchup is. And in particular, within any given matchup, you can play the games over and over and over again. And you get a variety of different situations from each game with even the same heroes. And on Masterclass, Tarn and I are going to play through, talk about these situations, analyze, and try to learn from them. That's sort of the core of the show. And we're also going to do some in-game deck refinement. We're going to do some adjusting, both of our play and of situations and how we address them. And then we're going to do this in custom games as well as some ladder games. So for example, tonight, the ladder games are going to mostly be me laddering with Tarn basically either playing for me in the way of telling me what he would do and I'll do it, or giving me advice after I come up with what I think I'm going to do. And we're going to feel that out depending on how the customs go and such. So for today's show, this is the agenda. And as you can see on the agenda, we did the intro. We're going to do some deck discussion, customs with analysis between Tarn and myself, and we might do some solo customs where we actually don't know what what kind of hands we're holding, and we're basically straight up just playing head to head, trying to take each other out. There are also some deck modification we'll be doing, as I said, some laddering with analysis, and then we might do some discussion and recap with some Q&A from you guys, and then a little bit of a goodbye and an outro. So yeah, thank you very much again, Tarn, for coming on. And you haven't had really a chance to introduce yourself. You want to talk a little bit about how you came to the game and what you've sort of how you felt about the game since you started the beta? What do you feel about Hearthstone?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm Tarn. I came into the game with a little bit different of a mindset, but perhaps a mindset that a lot of you shared. I did not get the beta right away. In fact, it took quite some time. I've actually only been playing for a few weeks now, which I know to many is still extremely lucky. So I actually came in with a little bit of a deflated mindset. I was super hype when Hearthstone was first announced, but not getting into the beta, I game all the time and I was just enwrapped in other games. And so I didn't get necessarily in right away to still looking at tons of streams, still looking at decks, still looking at strategies, et cetera, et cetera. So when I finally did get the beta, I came in really base knowledge, zero knowledge about the game, about the mechanics. And I think that's led to kind of an interesting perspective. That's kind of still how I've played the game, is kind of just complete learn as I go. And it's been a lot of fun. So the hope is for those of you out there who haven't got the beta, who perhaps might be feeling that attitude of, I'm not so excited about this game anymore. Trust me, it's worth it, because I wasn't feeling it, but then I got it, and now I'm hooked. So it's kind of how I got it going, got it rolling.
And have you played collectible card games or any kind of games involving cards before?
Yeah, I have. In my high school days, I was pretty big into Magic the Gathering. Um, but that kind of trailed off. So it had been kind of many years. I haven't played any really of the recent iterations of the game. But that would be my foundation in card games. Pretty much my only foundation. Have not played actually many other trading card games besides Magic.
Sure, sure. What'd you run in Magic? What color did you run, or did you run a multicolor deck?
I had many decks. Perhaps one of my most fun decks was a blue and black deck. And this is old cards, so we're talking things like Control Magics and what are some of the Royal Assassins? I don't know. It was crazy. It's crazy decks that would be completely illegal unless you were doing kind of a legacy type of tournament these days. But
Sure.
it was a pretty fun. I think I had a Vesuvian Doppelganger in there, which was a crazy it was like clones. Yeah, clones, Vesuvian Doppelganger. So it was like a clone your opponent's deck type of deck. It was a lot of fun.
I love that deck. I love that deck. I love the Vesuvian Doppelganger. What a good card. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm just going to check with chat. Are you guys hearing a little bit of feedback in the background? Anyone?
On my end?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Just a tad. Okay, cool. Fantastic. So in Hearthstone, would you say that there's a hero you like? What kind of decks you're feeling comfortable and enjoying playing at the moment?
Sure, absolutely. My main hero is actually a mage. And before you jump on me for playing mage, the reason why I play mage is actually for reasons that I stated beforehand. I came into the game blind, not knowing anything, and mage is actually the deck it starts you with. And that's the reason why my main deck developed to be a mage.
And I can attest to this, actually.
It walks you through a little tutorial, and then it suggests that you play custom games with the base mage deck, and that's what I did. I got level 10, I got the base deck with the mage, and then I just kind of kept playing mage from there as my main. Recently I've been toying around a little bit with priest, a little bit with warrior, some warlock.
I'm going to throw up your decks on the screen for people to see. These are the decks you're playing with at the moment.
Okay, so yeah, the left is definitely my I think that's the current version of my mage deck. And the center is a kind of a priest deck I threw together. Not really much development into that one, into the center deck. And the far right deck is a complete deck just for fun. It's a deck when I'm wanting to bow out and be at the complete whim of RNG gods and just try to get some hilarious combinations. That deck is insanely inconsistent, but a lot of fun when things line up for it. And so that deck is a pure for fun deck, and that's it's kind of how I keep things balanced. Sometimes I play serious, sometimes I just got to play for pure fun.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I really like your aggro deck. I like to call him your Leroy Jenkins deck. But it's definitely a fun one, and your priest and your mage are good decks. We'll talk a little bit more about them, but I just wanted to give people watching the show sort of a little bit of knowledge about what kind of decks you're playing and what we'll be playing with tonight. So the mage, which we worked a little bit on together way back when after you developed it. I would say this deck is mostly a aggro damage dealer. Get your opponent as low as possible, maybe down to 20 or 15 by the mid game, and then as soon as you get them in the striking distance between turn 8 and 10, you kill them with pyro and some extra damage. Is that sort of how you'd classify this deck?
Absolutely. It didn't start off that way. That deck's gone through many iterations, but that's kind of where it's landed in its current version. Is you could kind of classify it as one of those dreaded turn 8 type of decks. That wasn't exactly what I was shooting for, but just through the natural progression, that's how it started. The mage deck has been through some crazy iterations. My goals when I started playing the game were to get to Masters without buying any cards. And again, I did that on mage deck. So my mage deck that had no pre-constructed cards and had really no experience on my end is a wildly different variation of the mage deck you see now. But yeah, this one's it's laid out to try to hit hard early on, regain a little bit of tempo around turn 4, turn 5, and just try to polish off, hopefully before turn 10 or right around turn 10. It can last a little bit longer, but if you're not closing the game out by then, you can start getting into trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, in particular, the starters for this deck tend to be the Leper Gnome, the Mana Worm, the Fairy Dragon, occasionally the Loot Hoarder or the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Those are kind of more mid-ish. Also, the Rager, the Raging Worgen, is a big one that you like to get out there, do some damage with. And then you were talking about transition, it's the Azure Drakes, right? Those are your big transition element.
Yeah, as I was developing the deck, I kind of always found myself getting stuck, either completely burned out of cards, or just complete lack of board control around turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, and the inclusion of the Azure Drakes has really just kind of helped for that. It makes them a target. You don't want to leave a mage with spell damage on the board, come turn 6, turn 7. But mainly it's to kind of regain a little bit of that tempo. Hopefully I've just done a clear with a blizzard, or just done some control with, say, a Cone of Cold, and regain a little bit of tempo, draw a card, and try to set myself up for the finishing blows in the upcoming turns.
So I have a variety of decks here, and okay, there we go. So I got into the game playing a Shaman, got to Masters 3 with a Shaman, and it was a Shaman control deck. That deck transitioned into what I call my Master Class deck, which was a deck that Tarn and I sort of modified together, and it includes things like Lightning Bolt, the Rockbiter, Stormforge Axe for control, Fairy Dragons against mages and other spellcasters, Flame Tongue Totems to basically give teeth to my small minions and my totems. Feral Spirit is a great card. I'm actually considering putting a second one in to 2-for-1 with some overload, get 2/2/3 minions with taunt. Hex and Lightning Storm for single point damage control, or AoE with the Lightning Storm, or get rid of one minion with the Hex. Mana Tide's a decent card for basically putting on a board a 3 health minion that'll continue to give you cards. Shattered Sun Cleric is a nice buff. Unbound Elemental because I have quite a bit of overload. Doomhammer is my weapon. Bloodlust for some finishing moves with my smaller minions. Azure Drake is good for transition as well as spell damage. The card draw gives me a good transition like the Blood Mage. Earth Elemental is a really strong situational card. It's dangerous because it overloads you a lot, but there are situations where it's very critical. Argent Commanders are always good. They're a 2-for-1 because they have charge and a Divine Shield, so you can usually take out a minion. Fire Elemental is also really good. Stormwind for a finisher with minions on board, or Ragnaros for a finisher without minions. So that's a strong deck. I really like this deck, but it is particularly weak to, let's say, for example, your Priest deck. I have a Paladin deck, a few Mage decks, an Aggro Mage, a Spell Mage, did a Shaman anti-one-turn kill deck, which I've played with and tweaked since. My Mod Shaman. So one of the things I like to do in Hearthstone is keep changing things, keep playing, trying new cards. And with the decks I really care about, I don't want to do that. I feel like I want to slowly go through them and methodically make them better and better, understanding the meta, how things are shifting, where it's weak and strong. But I still don't want to lose that ability to just have fun, just enjoy and have fun. So my Mod Shaman, I pretty much will do anything with. Don't care about it, will have fun. I play it a lot, but I'm not too worried about keeping it in tip-top form. And then I have a Thief Priest, which is a fun one, and not great, kind of tweaked it, had some fun with it. I like Tarn's Priest better. And I've got my Small Guys deck, which is, again, a Shaman deck, which deals very well, I think, with priest decks and other decks that my main shaman decks are weak against. So that's sort of a quick synopsis of my decks and Tarn's decks and where we're at with them. Yeah, I think from there, I think we may as well just jump in real quick and play some customs. And the way we're going to do this to start is we're going to play it kind of open, meaning we're going to discuss, when situations arise, we're going to discuss our hands openly with each other. So that's not typical of games you play on ladder or what have you, but it's one of the ways that Tarn and I learn is we kind of look at a situation from both perspectives, see what one person would do, what the other would do, without sort of necessarily saying, well, now that I know what you have in your hand, I would play something differently. It's more like, what would I generally play best in a situation like this, maybe based on what cards you've seen played against you.
Do you want me covering up your hand this time?
Let's see how it goes. Yeah, you don't have to look at my hand just yet. I can describe what it is as we go. We've played a couple games slow. We might just kind of, now that we've geared up, we might just kind of move a little bit quicker along. I've got a better starting hand, not fantastic, but certainly better. Let's see what my... Yeah, this is a good starting hand, so let's have some fun.
Alright, let me cover up your hand. I'll go ahead and put something over that. Okay.
So, guys in chat, Tarn does get to see the chat, so be a little bit cautious, just because he at the moment is not trying to see what I've got, and we're going to play out this hand a little bit, and I might decide to explain a situation, but for the moment we're just going to play it out.
I feel icky.
Strong play. Very strong turn 1. That's like the strongest turn 1 you can have other than a mana worm and then another mana worm.
Personally, I actually like that better than the 2 mana worms.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I didn't have that.
I agree with you.
I didn't have that option, but if I've had hands where I do have that option and I still play this as the turn 1.
Mm-hmm. I think, to answer chat, I think the Argent Commander is fair. I like it as a card. I think it's good for the game, and I don't have any issues with it. I haven't seen it be overpowered. A lot of people use it. I do think it's a fun card. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it at the moment. So, I can't... Okay, so I'm going to describe my hand again, just because it makes sense for this. I do have an unplayable Ragnaros, a Novice Engineer, a Fairy Dragon, a Stormforged, and a second Fairy Dragon. Which brings us to my favorite part of the segment, or second favorite part of the segment, which is Rise of the Fairy Dragons. It's a nice short film about 2 wonderful little dragons who go on a journey to defeat the evil mage Jaina. And in this given scenario, I'm going to bring out one of the dragons so that next turn...
will tear you apart.
Next turn I can do some more, but I am going to take a couple hits here. Fairy dragons are great against mages and priests and any spell-based characters because they have they are immune to spells and hero powers.
Mind if I roll knee?
One of my favorite cards. So that was well played. Taking out my Fairy Dragon with the Leper Gnome and doing 2 damage to me anyway.
Right. Ideally, I'd love to only hit the face with Leper Gnomes, but in the case of a Fairy Dragon being played against me, I have to take him out with minions, and if I'm going to have to use a minion, the Leper Gnome is going to get its damage to throughput anyway.
And I'm in a tricky spot again. You have 2 minions out already. I can bring out the axe, but it's only going to be able to kill one of your 2 minions. If I bring out the Fairy Dragon, your Loot Hoarder is going to be able to kill the Fairy Dragon, keeping your Mana Worm in play. It's a bad spot. Yeah, it's just a tricky spot, and I have 3 mana, so I'm in a bad mana zone with my cards, and I can only play 1 card. I can't play 2. I don't want to play the Fairy, so I am going to play the Stormforged Axe, because next turn I'll have 2 mana. That's okay to have 2 mana next turn. I don't want to ever have 1 mana. And I'm going to take out the Loot Hoarder, since I can't kill the Mana Worm right now. I think Shaman could be buffed a bit. My one thing, I think that the totem that was healing that gave the Shaman one healing to the hero as well as the minions was a nice touch. And if it was overpowered, which I don't know that it was, but if it was, they should have given the Shaman another way of getting healing. So, okay. So now, again, a tricky spot. I have the ability to cast Hex on one of your minions. I could also bring out a Fairy Dragon. I am going to bring out a Fairy at this point and try to trade it with one of your two minions. Yeah, and I mean, I could bring out the Novice Engineer as well, but it only does 1 damage. So...
Yeah, you have to keep in mind that I will, if that is your move, my trade is definitely going to be
with
using
the Harvest Golem, right?
The Harvest Golem.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your trade's always going to be the Harvest Golem.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
Yeah, you're never going to trade with something other than Harvest Golem. The other options I can go for a totem, but I don't have Rockbiter to give it any teeth, so or my Flame Tongue totem, so I don't think I have another option.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to attack until I can put your minion to kill your minion to save the Stormforge.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Ooh. Man, my shaman is getting wrecked by your mage tonight. This is I would say atypical. I tell you how wrecked I am.
I am having pretty strong openers.
So,
but this is the modified version to be stronger in the early game. But
sure. So I got a Flame Tongue totem, which is not useful now, but I can bring out a Novice Engineer, see what card I get. Maybe I get lucky and draw a Storm, and then I have the option to Hex after I kill stuff. So I'm gonna bring out a Novice.
You like my invention?
I did not get a Storm. I've got 3 left, and a totem would be okay, but I think in this case I'm going to Hex your Mana Worm, because that thing's just going to keep getting scarier and scarier, and I'm going to attack your Fairy Dragon. Would you Hex the Mana Worm, or would you Hex the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Elements guide me. Elements
I
guide
would probably Hex the Mana Worm.
Yeah.
I mean, Sorcerer's Apprentice is really nice, but at this point, it's not going to really be, it's not putting me in range to Pyro yet, and it's not, if I had Blizzard, I'm not going to want to cast a Blizzard against one Novice Engineer, and so, getting a bonus on that, it does allow me to play like a cheaper Fireball.
Yeah.
But, I think leaving her up for one turn isn't bad.
Yeah. Yep. And again, my hand for the viewers out there is really tough. I have 2 6-drops and an 8-drop, all useless to me before this next turn. So it's a tricky situation. Really, you're gonna? I was gonna say, why would you trade that? Huh. So
Hesitated.
I think, even though I'm going to die soon, I think my move is to bring out... I have an Argent, and I have Fire Elemental. I now have 2 Argents. I think I can bring out my Argent and kill your Azure Drake, so I can use my weapon to kill the Taunt, my Novice to kill the Golem, and I'll leave you with your Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is not great, but I think it's the best option.
No, absolutely. I'd agree. If that's what's in your hand.
I got my Drake Killer. The Argent is definitely the Azure Drake Killer.
Elements guide me.
If you're sure.
That is true.
Again, this wouldn't be the worst situation if we were at equal health. You've got 1 more card, but it's really the health that you've done early with the Pyroblast as a finish that makes this deck so hard to deal with. I like, there's a lot of tournaments and stuff and different options with formatting, but we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the show, but certainly we will. So I have 7 mana, and I can bring out an Argent and Lightning Bolt, so that's the best option now, right? I've got Ragnaros, not playable, a 3 damage dealing fire elemental, which will not kill the Drake, a totem, which there's nothing on board. So then I have an Argent to get out to take care of the second Drake, and a Lightning Bolt to take care of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think that's the best play here.
Yeah. That sounds strong.
Again, with the Shaman, when you're not behind, you really want to be getting out totems. When you're behind, you are forced to keep playing your big cards and not get a nice big board, which you can then either Flame Tongue or Bloodlust or what's the guy's 6/6 +1/+1 for everything, Stormwind Champion. So I don't have those opportunities versus this deck. We're certainly not with this draw. 3 health. That's not going to be easy to come back from. So I got 7 to play. And actually with the board I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm going to keep my Elemental. I'm going to bring out a totem. Bring out my Feral Spirits. Bring out a Flame Tongue Totem. And I am going to attack your face because I do have 2 Spirit Rolls, and I'm pretty much dead anyway. But yeah, you guys in chat, absolutely, thanks for coming out. We will be answering questions. Tarn and I have good opinions on all of these things. We have great opinions on these things, but we want to get through some games and hopefully actually show some of the strengths of the deck. But this is actually fine too because this happens quite a bit. This is a great way that a mage can keep the tempo. You've got the, what was it, the Cone of Cold. So it only does 1 damage, but it freezes the minions it hits. And freezing minions for 1 turn is kind of clutch. And now that Rager forces me to deal with it. I do have 7 mana, so I can Lightning Storm that Rager, which doesn't really make sense. I have 1 mana shy of the Rag, so I'm going to bring out the Fire Elemental. I'm going to use its 3 damage to kill the Rager. That's a pretty good trade. If I had 1 more mana, I could bring a totem out, but I don't. So, again, I'm at 3 health. All he needs is a, what is it, an Ice Blast? What is the 3 damage? Frost.
Yeah, any of my direct, a Frostbolt, Fireball, or
yeah.
a Pyroblast.
Well, I was hoping you would get to show how my Shaman faced up well against your mage, but he was drawing way too strong. So we will, I think we should switch it up and play something different. Unless, yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm going to do my Mod Shaman. I was thinking maybe one of your other decks. How are you feeling about that?
No, I can definitely play another deck. Just looking at the time and looking at our tentative schedule.
Yeah, our tentative schedule has been blown. I am pulling up the schedule again. So we've done some customs with analysis. We've kind of attempted to do some customs with solo. Modifying the deck is something we could talk about, but at this point, you don't really want to modify a deck
next week, or
yeah, we could do it next week. But you generally don't want to modify your deck when you're getting really bad draws. It's not a good time to modify your deck. It's when your good draws are not working, or if you're continuing to find over the course of many games, you're always having problems. Then maybe your draws are related to your deck. In this case, I think Tarn and I both know that that's not the case. So I don't think a deck modification makes sense right now.
Right. No, I think we can save that. I think we might want to save some laddering as well, and maybe play some different matchups, and then have some discussions with people in chat.
Yeah, that's great. That sounds like a good idea. All right, let's do it. We're just gonna blow through some games here pretty quickly. We might do some analysis, but it won't be super long and intense the way we've been doing it, and we're just gonna have some fun.
Switch it up.
Yeah.
Switch it up from the mage.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out. Hope you're enjoying episode 1.
The light shall bring victory.
For Doomhammer.
I'm gonna keep this stuff. This is all pretty good. One of the
Want to
tricks.
send some of that good stuff my way?
Yeah, no, I do not. One of the tricks about playing against a priest is to get in a lot of damage early, because he doesn't have a whole lot of early minions, and the late game with mind control
someone
and shadow
injured?
word death, it's a tough thing to deal with. So you have to be careful of playing your big cards late. It's a perfect situation on my one turn play lock. I take 1 damage and I kill the Northshire Cleric. The Northshire Cleric's a dangerous card because it can be buffed up pretty big, and those buffs also allow it to heal itself more. And one thing you definitely do not want is a priest to be buffing and or healing and drawing cards. And he's forced to heal himself, which is nice. Turn 2, I have some options. I do currently like bringing out my
I
engineer.
hope you like my invention.
I don't need to be hyper aggressive, but aggression is good. In a case where I can bring out a minion that can maybe do some damage later and draw a card, I'm kind of happy with that. Dark Steel, so there's a good card for the priest to pull cards out of my deck for 3 mana. He gets 2 cards and gets to use them at some point. So, I'm gonna bring out a second. Well, actually, I have 2 options. I can bring out a totem and then start buffing, or I'm gonna keep the board a little light at the moment.
We
and I'm
must
just gonna
cleanse the sun
buff
well.
this one minion up to a 2/3,
If you're sure.
and then maybe next turn I'll come up with something different. You guys hit these up enough, you can actually get a boot. It's like a workman's boot. It's kind of cool. Tarn showed me that last week. Ooh, he's using my feral spirits. Nicely done.
Gotta use the power of the shaman to defeat the shaman. Right.
Very nicely played. So this is a good opportunity for me to I'm going to, let's see here. I could silence that 1 minion, or I could bring out some totems and start doing some damage. I don't think I need to use my Stormforge at the moment. So I am going to bring out the totems. And these will now kill everything on board.
Push forward.
Can't do that.
Oh, if you're sure.
And in this case, with other options, I am going to bring out my Feral Spirits, because I do have, 5 next turn, which will bring me down to 3 next turn, which is fine.
Job done.
Another option would have been maybe to bring out a totem and hope for healing. That's another good option. But this is some pretty strong board control. And it's at turn 3, so it is tricky for the priest to deal with this much board control at turn 3. Am I wrong, Tarn?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Especially considering that I decided to overload myself
Yes.
the last turn, which
That's
I
right.
still have options. I made that decision knowing I have options, but my options are definitely very limited.
That's a good point.
Sure.
Tarn, by using a shaman card, overloaded himself, and that's the price you pay. The price you pay. And he's pulling a card out of my hand, so he gets one of these 4. And will kill my totem. Nicely done. Usually, the priest will get one of my flame tongues, which is why I generally like to keep 2 in my deck. I'm gonna put him dead center.
Oh, if you're sure.
Push
And
forward.
when one of these minions dies, it will continue to give pluses to the adjacent minions. Booyah!
15. Yeah, this is exactly the weaknesses that we were talking about.
Yeah.
If you're able to get early minion aggression against this deck, is very, very strong.
And it's part of one of the reasons why I've added in Flame Tongues to my deck, is that it's important for me to have early aggressive options against decks where I need that. And that's what the Flame Tongues are good for. So I have 6 to play. Right now I can do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whenever you get a person below like 15 health, or if you've got a lot of capability for damage below 20 health, you do want to just do the math and see if you can do a lethal blow. So it's at 15 health. I can do 5, 6, 7. I can do 9 with the option of doing 11 with my Stormforge, or 12 with my Fire Elemental. 11, so let's see, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 with the Shattered Sun. So I can't kill him, but I can do a lot of damage. But since I'm in such good shape, I think I'm just going to keep going. And by keep going, I mean I'm going to bring out my Fire Elemental to do 3 damage. Use my weakest minion to take it out.
Oh, if you're
And just keep
sure.
pushing it. So this is shaping up to be about an hour and a half to 2 hour long show. Depending on how these shows go in the future, they might be shorter. They might be about an hour. But we're still sort of feeling out the process, and definitely got a bit of a slow start doing some analysis of how terrible my hands were. It's a great card. This 5/5 can be a real pain in the butt. The thing is, though, anytime you have any kind of silence, it turns into a 0/5, which is one of the many reasons I have 2 Spellbreakers in this deck. With 8 health, though, he can be killed. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only need to be able to do 2 or 3 more damage. 3 more damage. Oh, I mean, excuse me, 1 more damage. 1 more damage. But we're gonna do more than that.
Victory!
Oh, I don't know.
That was close. It was close. That was it's borderline, right? It's borderline.
I mean, you needed to play something extra.
Yeah.
A little...
I did play a little extra. I could have done it with the Stormforged. I didn't play 2 things extra though. Nicely done. I'm gonna switch over to my small guys deck. I'm going to show really quickly into the chat, or into what the small guys are. So I've taken out all my big minions, Ragnaros and such. I do have 2 Argents and 2 Fire Elementals, but mostly everything is small. And I've added in Unbound Elementals, Defenders of Argus, and other such things. This is a particularly strong deck against a Priest and other early aggression decks. So Priest is not early aggression, but this does work well against early aggression decks. It has all the Rockbiters and Lightnings and Flame Tongues and Ferals and Hexes. The one other thing it has is 2 Lava Bursts. So this is a much more aggressive deck. Oh, I'm going to...
Oh, let's see. I'm going to play this deck. I'm going to play a wild card deck.
Nice. Let's do it.
Wild card deck. It's definitely a 0 development deck.
Okay,
Threw it
that's
together
fun.
last night. Threw it together last night at, I don't know, 4 in the morning.
Souls
Sweet.
shall be mine. For Doomhammer.
Zero experience playing this deck.
Well, considering you're playing a Warlock, I am going to play in a way that I think hopefully can deal with that Warlock.
I think based off the deck that you're playing, it should line up to be hopefully fun.
Greetings, friend.
I greet you.
I thank you.
Put this apple on your head.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
You know, you want to let him live.
I do not want to let him live, but I do not have a choice. Damn it, that was literally the opposite of Totem Hacks right there. Where's my Totem Hacks when I need it?
Do I have to?
Oh, I know this deck.
Oh,
I
we
know
missed it.
this deck.
Oh, we got it.
So in this scenario, this is always the best option. Especially since next turn I'll still have two mana.
Interesting. Got some choices.
Yeah. You've got some good board control going. I'm trying to take it back with my wolves.
I hope you like my invention.
Oh, betrayed me, Knife Juggler. You betrayed me.
A 4/4 till the end of turn, and then you do damage to me anyway.
Don't mess.
Oh yeah, here it comes. Here it comes. The only thing worse in this deck is when you've got two of those blood imps out. Yep, I've got all unplayable minions at this point. Woohoo!
Rock by turn.
I guess it's gonna be.
Oh, wrong choice.
Yeah, you think so?
No, it's the right choice. I just wanted him juggling more knives. Come on.
There'll be no more knife juggling at this point in the game. Oh my god, that card drop. Oh shit. Well, you know damn well if I haven't used my lightning storm already, I don't have it.
I know, that's what I'm banking on. We're hoping it's not there. Although they would pretty much all survive the storm.
Your magic shall not save you.
Good silence. Good
That's
silence.
it's GG for sure.
Like, draw.
That hurts.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
My shield for Argus. Die, mage.
Very good. Overwhelming power.
It is overwhelming, your power.
My shield for Argus! Into the breach!
Shield.
Job done.
Shield is killing me.
Oh yeah. Soul Siphon is dangerous, man. 6 damage.
It's just, well, it's 6 mana. It's a straight up kill.
Yeah. 6 mana, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Our minions running low on minions.
The breach!
I think you might actually get the epic comeback, to be honest.
I got 4 health,
running
man.
dangerous-
It ain't easy. We'll see.
running
I'm
dangerously low.
I'm definitely not in the worst spot I've been in, and I have opportunities.
I hope you like my invention.
As do you with your engineer.
Do I have to?
I mean, I'm just due for some AoE at this point, don't you think?
Yeah, you're pretty
Yes,
pretty
me
cheap.
and Mr. Bitey.
Oh my god. 28 health to 4. Don't know if this comeback is gonna happen. That's so funny.
Sending them in. We're sending them in. That hurts. Oh, I left a taunter alive though. That frog was clutch.
Into the breach! Victory or death!
That's some board clear right there. That is some epic board clearing on 3 health.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Alright. Alright, here's what we gotta do.
Sorry that happened.
It's okay. Sorry.
I am not.
Need to get some minions.
Oh, do you now?
I am not.
Look at what we have here. Oh my god. That is ridiculous. I think you got it.
Alright. Alright, we're gonna have 5 minions up there now.
I think you got it. I need a taunter.
You need an AoEs or a taunter. Feral
Let's see.
Spirit. Oh my god. Come on. If you can kill all of those. Oh no. One of them lives. Well, actually.
We must cleanse
Yeah.
the Sunwell.
Oh, you would get that totem. You would.
Totem hacks, baby! Totem hacks 2010!
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right, so I just gotta kill everything now. So for 4.
Victory or death.
I honestly don't know if I have anything in this deck that's like just pure
To the breach.
direct damage to you.
Already dead.
I can't kill that totem.
1 mana short. Yeah.
Gotta keep playing minions. That's all we gotta keep doing.
Squire, attend me.
Oh jeez.
Ready, sir.
Squire, attend me.
Oh my god.
Ready, sir.
All right, let's do this. 12.
Do you have like a blood? If you bloodlust and hit me in the face, I'm gonna cry.
I got it. I got it.
No. Oh, the pain. Plus a lava first. Oh my god. Yep, I told you way back when I was fizzling. Nice. Nicely played.
Damn, that is definitely one of the comebacks of the week.
That's a solid comeback.
As we wrap up the show, I do want to first of all say thank you to Tarn. This was a lot of fun. We're still working on it, and it's our first show of many. So thank you so much for co-hosting. I had a good time. It was a little bit different than I had anticipated it, but I think everything is when you first play it. So first of all, big thank you to you. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming out and helping co-host.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks for putting this together and having me on as your co-host. I think it was a lot of fun myself, and I think we'll iron things out, get things a little bit more streamlined. I think 1 to 2 hour show length is pretty good, and so yeah, I think it was good. Good first outing, and thanks to everyone who tuned in and stayed with us through this first experiment.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, a big thank you to all the viewers, everyone in chat, everyone looking online, on Twitch or on YouTube. Thanks for coming out and getting in on the ground floor with us. This episode 1, we do appreciate it. And yeah, we will streamline things and I think get a quicker start, get a quicker ramp up, do it in that sort of fashion. And our second show will be next week, same time, same day, Monday at 7 p.m. PST. You can look for updates on episode 2 or any episodes on iHeartU.com or on my Twitter. My Twitch and my Twitter are both Kobayshi Maru, KOBAYSHIMARU. And my YouTube, you can find me under Chris Negrin or Kobayashi Maru or C Negrin, CNEGRIN. And you can find Tarn on his Twitch stream, Tarn33. And thanks again, everybody. This is Kobayashi Maru. This is our first episode, and we are signing off. One last little note. For anyone who is interested, you can tweet at us questions, format ideas, anything you want to send to us. Constructive criticism, we're happy to hear it. Thank you for coming out, and anybody mind if I roll need?